Hello everyone, and welcome back to my channel. Read, Share, Repeat, where we discuss books from the perspective of an aspiring fantasy author. Me, Carrie Share. And today we are discussing my March TBR. At the beginning of this year, I started a new method of constructing my monthly TBRs, and I found it's really been working for me, so I'm going to continue the trend into March. Basically, the way it breaks down is 4 categories. First, books on last month's TBR that I didn't get to finish, library books, including the holds that I expect to come due in the new month, 2025 priority reads, and then, of course, a random draw from my Mimic. In January, that meant a total of 13 books, and I read 8. And in February, it was 11 books, and again, about 8. I am still working my way through 1 or 2, and I'm hoping to hit 8 again. So with that in mind, here is the list. First, as I mentioned, books that I did not manage to finish last month. And first up is Sailing to Sarantium by Guy Gavriel Kay. And this I'm putting on this list as a precaution because I am about 25% of the way through it, and I do intend to finish it by Friday, the end of the month. That being said, it is my busiest time of the year and I've got a lot going on, so it's possible that reading will not be a priority this week, but again, I am hoping to get that book finished. If not, it's number 1 on my priority list for March. Second, and in a similar vein, is The Bone Ships by R.J. Barker. This is actually a reread for me, but I am currently annotating it as part of my annotation project, so it is going a little bit slower. But just getting into the first 80 pages or so, I'm reminded of how much I really liked this book. Because Friday is the end of the month, and with everything else I have going on this week, I don't see myself finishing this one. So again, this will be at the top of my priority for March. And then lastly in this category is a book I did not manage to get started on yet because my library hold came in really late into February, and that is Gardens of the Moon by Steven Erikson. This is the first in the very large, very expansive Malazan series, and beyond that, I really don't know that much about it. It's a classic, it's well beloved, it's got a cult following, and like the others, this book will be pretty highly prioritized at the beginning of March. The next category is my library reads, and that includes books I currently have out on loan and the holds I expect to come due in the new month. We've got quite a long list here because I've got a lot that are supposed to come to me off my hold list. The first, which I already have out, is The Dead Cattail Assassins by P. Djeli Clark. Is it P. Djeli Clark? Did I make that up? This is a fantasy novella about a member of the titular Dead Cattail Assassins. I've read about the first 20 pages of it before, but then I had to go back to the library, so I didn't get to finish it. I like P. Djeli Clark's writing style, so I'm really looking forward to this one. As I said, I've already got it out, so I've got to get on top of it pretty quickly. Next on this list is The North Wind by Alexandria Warwick, and I understand this to be a romantasy that has gotten quite a lot of buzz lately. Just from looking over the synopsis, it says it is a Beauty and the Beast or maybe a Hades and Persephone retelling. You get that a lot in romantasy, so I'm kind of taking that with a grain of salt, and romantasies have been really hit or miss for me, so we'll see how this one pans out. So those are the books I currently have out. Then I've got my holds list, starting with Paladin's Hope by T. Kingfisher. This is 3rd installment of her Saint of Steel. My cat is sticking her arms all the way under the door. She's so mad that she can't get in here right now. The Saint of Steel series, which is a series of companion novels following these paladins whose god died very abruptly and traumatically. And so now these paladins are kind of left to wander. They're often very broken, losing their god, mentally damaged, many of them in many ways. I thought the first one was just okay. I didn't really like the couple. I really liked the second one. The couple was really great in that one. So we will see how this 3rd one goes. And then there is, of course, a 4th installment to finish out the series. So looking forward to continuing my journey through T. Kingfisher's backlist with Paladin's Hope. Then we have 4 that are due to come due in 4 weeks, so we'll see how many of them I actually get. First is The Wild Huntress by Emily Lloyd Jones, and I've heard interesting things about this book, enough to pique my interest. This is another young adult romantasy. My history with those have been spotty, and young adult especially I don't tend to get on with. But like I said, I've heard some interesting things about it, some of it good, some of it just vague enough to make me want to see it for myself. So we'll see how that one pans out. Then we have Malice by John Gwynne. This is one that I keep pushing back and pushing back and pushing back off my holds list because I just don't feel ready for it. And I have had a lot of really intimidating reads on my TBR already. And this one is very intimidating. It is the first in his Faithful and the Fallen series, which is very well beloved. I believe it's a quartet. I really enjoyed Shadow of the Gods, but that is the only book I have read by John Gwynne before. So this is going to be a new experience for me. Again, I've been pushing this one back and pushing this one back, but it is one of my 2025 priority reads. So it will really just depend on how many books I have out off my holds list, and if there's space to squeeze it in. But it is not my goal or intention to push it back another time. I'm hoping to actually get to it this month. Again, we'll just have to see how everything else shakes out. Next up off my holds list is A Strange and Stubborn Endurance by Foz Meadows. And the only thing I know about this one is that it is a romantasy, yes, but it features a queer couple between two men. And that hasn't been an area that I've read a lot in. So I'm hoping that this fulfills that like romantasy desire that I have had, yet have not been able to fulfill because all of the ones I've picked up so far haven't been to my taste. So I'm hoping the twist with the queer romance really sends it home for me. And then lastly on this list, we have A Memory Called Empire by Arkady Martine. And I had kind of a weird hiccup with my hold for this one. When it became my turn back in January or December, my library's copy expired. I had the option to leave it on my hold list, but I didn't know how soon they were gonna get a new license for it. And I try to keep my holds list full. So I took it off and then I checked on it a month later and they had a new license for it. So I am back on the list. Hopefully I'll get it finally this week or this month. I'm really, really looking forward to it. I've heard really great things. This is a sci-fi story, a little bit of a breakup of all the fantasy and a lot of the fantasy romances. And that is everything for my library category. Next up is, of course, my 2025 priority TBR. The beginning of the year, I came up with 27 books that I want to read in 2025. My goal is to read at least 2 of those every single month, and I've done really well so far. So first off this list is Holy Sister by Mark Lawrence. This is the 3rd and final book of his Book of the Ancestor series, which has really held a special place in my heart since I read the first book, Red Sister, in 2018 or 19, and it really, really changed my life. I read Gray Sister last year at about the same time, and I enjoyed it, not quite as much as I did Red Sister, but I know for a fact that I will love this book as well, and it'll finish out a series for me. Earlier this year, I finished the Secrets of the Nile duology, and checking a series off my list, marking it complete, triggered some sort of chemical in my brain, and I want to do it more. I want to get that list down because it has only grown since the beginning of the year until I took that one off. So this one will not only mark that off and give me that satisfaction, but it'll round out a series that has really meant a lot to me over the years. And then the second book is one I'm really excited about. I have tried to read it before last year when I was in the middle of a slump, and I don't think it was the right time. I knew that I would like it, and my feelings on reading at the time were not going to do it justice. So no slump in sight, and I am excited to finally pick up Gideon the Ninth by Tamsin Muir. I cannot consume enough about these books. I've heard so many great things. Like I said, I did start it and I got maybe 120 pages in, and I really did like the style. I really was interested in what was going on. The banter was really, really on point. I want to join the legion of Locked Tomb fans who are waiting for Electo. I just have to get started back on Gideon. I'm really looking forward to this one. Oh, I'm really looking forward to this one. Sneak peek for my content this month. I am planning on making this my annotation vlog for the month, so please look forward to it. And that is it, except of course my random draw for my TBR Mimic. I have been striking out with my Mimic so far this year. The first book in January was a horror book that I didn't even really want and ended up unhauling pretty much immediately after I drew it. it. And then last month I picked Sailing to Sarantium by Guy Gavriel Kay, which I really was not excited about. And I only own it because I just bought it sight unseen back when I was like desperately trying to get back into a reading habit and really didn't know anything about it. And while I am forcing myself to read it this month, it would not have been my first choice. So I'm really hoping that I get back on track with my Mimic and it gives me something good. I'm also kind of side hoping that it gives me a physical book. With the way that my TBRs have been constructed this year, it's very ebook heavy. And so I'm actively seeking out more physical books to balance out all the ebooks. So here's my TBR Mimic. If you're new here, some people have a TBR jar. I have a TBR Mimic. And inside my Mimic friend are scraps of paper with numbers on it. Those numbers correspond to a spreadsheet that I have where I maintain my owned library. And that owned library includes my physical books, my ebooks, and my audiobooks. So it is truly a detailed list of everything that I own. So this guy, the whole point of this guy is to help me whittle down my owned TBR. It makes it kind of fun to not know and to kind of leave it up to chance. Of course, this year it hasn't been so lucky, but that's part of the fun. It kind of makes it like an assignment, and for some reason that just works in my brain. So we're gonna give him a little shake. Let's see, so you can see right here. Another really high one, so this is probably another digital book. I got 201. Let's see what 201 corresponds to. Okay, so 201 corresponds to Ashes of the Sun by Django Wexler, and this is a epic fantasy, apparently with queer characters, political turmoil, siblings set against each other. I'm actually not mad at this one. This one could be really good. But again, another book that I bought for 99 cents off of a BookBub promo probably. Oh my God, it's like 600 pages. What is with my TBR this month and getting these super long books? So yeah, I've got another long one this month, and I guess I'll just have to plow through the others on this list, which is, how many books was that? 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 13 books again. So I've got another 13 book list. Again, I don't think I'll get to all of these. Of course, my main goal is always to prioritize my own library, and especially my 2025 priority reads. A lot of the library books, especially those ones with 4-week hold times, I probably will not get to this month, or will delay if I'm in the middle of too many books. As always, my goal is 8, so I can keep on track of my 100 book yearly goal. But yeah, I'm really excited about this list. I've got some romantasy. I've got a series continuation that'll actually finish out a series of something that I know that I will like. I anticipate starting a series that I also know I will like. I've got some sci-fi in there, including one that's highly anticipated. T. Kingfisher is always a banger. Even the books that I didn't really vibe with much, I still enjoyed her writing style. So I'm feeling really great about this list, and I can't wait to dive right in. And with that, thank you so much for watching. I so appreciate it. If you like my content and want to support the channel, please like and subscribe, or consider leaving a comment down below. If you made it all the way to the end of this video, leave me a sun emoji for Ashes of the Sun, my random draw for this month. In my next video, I will have my March cozy reset for you. I hope you look forward to it, and I will see you then. Bye.